Another night takes aim at stupidity. McToon takes another crack at 5G fraud. And Team Skeptic joins the fight against First Amendment frauditors. Those stories and more today as the plot thickens. Rack focus. Hey everybody, Johnny O from the Plot Hole here, and it's that time to get into the news. Let's go. Darth Dawkins observer and chronicler Tom Rabbit has gained the ire so much from the Darth flock that they're willing to abuse the copyright strike system.
Maybe it's Blackout who really technically owns the content. Yeah, this seems a bit long and complicated to get the copyright strike done, but I mean we could do that, I think, if we wanted, which I can't be bothered to do it myself at the minute, and I do have to put all the legal stuff down, and
1 hour later.
Darth and crew haven't been successful in filing those claims, though I'm sure they'll keep trying. More on the copyright strike system later. Cheesemondo, Shill's producer and paranormal investigator, has started a call-in show where he looks to speak with people who've had some sort of paranormal experience, close encounters of the third kind, and generally any other kind of unexplained event.
And this is Speakeasy with Cheesemondo. This is a paranormal supernatural call-in show broadcast live to YouTube from the back room of this very speakeasy. And if the feds ask you where it is, you got no idea. If you've got a demon in your attic, a ghost in your basement, a poltergeist in your kitchen, if you've seen or experienced UFOs, aliens, Bigfoot, skinwalkers, or if you've just seen something you can't explain, call in, share your story. I want to hear all about it. We've already had some great calls about UFOs and Bigfoot and lots of other things. There are plenty of clips on my channel if you want to take a look. I just want to say a big thank you to Johnny O, and as I promised, I would get you all of the winning sports events, every major sports event from the 1st of August. So here we go.
The world's second worst rapper and science communicator McToon has investigated and uncovered yet another 5G scam.
Hello, I'm McToon. Today I want to talk about crowdfunding scams and the lawyers who run them. This is the third episode I've done about the legal action against 5G. Last week I wrote an email to Lorna Hackett and her gang. I've heard nothing back from her. The way I see it, their silence means that they agree. This is a scam. It's futile. They're peddling false hopes to their donors. These people won't talk about their case because there's really nothing anybody can say to defend something this silly. These sorts of scams are common. All a lawyer needs to do is find a popular issue that will inspire donations and a strawman claimant who's willing to be used.
McToon has carefully examined the evidence found, and his conclusion is one that is easy to follow. I'm interested in hearing the other players' side of the story. This scam has a lot of identifiers that mark it as a scam. People who want to be duped, sleazy lawyers itching to take advantage of those people who want to be duped, and a front person selling 5G as it's some sort of danger to society and humanity. Hopefully, McToon will hear back from the team that is running the legal action against 5G, though I wouldn't hold my breath. Weekend horror creator and theist debater J.L. Warren recently reached a milestone on his channel. The Bridge the Divide series creator broke that difficult milestone of getting 1,000 subscribers to his channel. I look forward to more amazing content from JL Warren and his Bridge the Divide series. Congratulations, JL. Speaking of milestones, Nate the Lawyer recently reached 2 giant milestones himself. As Nate was preparing for his 70,000 subscriber special, he quickly blew right past 70,000 into 80,000, and 90,000 is a very, very short jump away. Congratulations, Nate the Lawyer. Pastor Larson, self-proclaimed exorcism doer guy, opened his mouth in order to paint a negative picture of those who play Dungeons & Dragons and online video games. Shiny Knight Sir Sick took apart that silly position.
Millennials?
Oh great, opening with a crusty old dude shouting, "Millennials! How could this possibly go badly?" Wait a minute, that's Pastor Bob Larson, the vampire hunter. No, wait, the real exorcist, that's the one. Yeah, oh god, this guy is quite the individual. Watch the start of my last video on him for some context, but the TLDR is woo lad.
Never experienced role-playing games in the 80s, such as Dungeons & Dragons.
Wow, off to an amazing start there, Bob. Just top tier whacked. There's just multiple wrongs bundled up into one incredibly stupid sentence. First, millennials, while a bit of a broad term, is generally considered to be people born between 1981 and 1996, so any millennial could have very easily been old enough to play in the 80s. And second, it doesn't matter when you play D&D, the fundamentals of what it is as an experience haven't really changed, so no matter when you started, you played a tabletop role-playing game. And millennials have been playing it for frickin' decades at this point. First sentence and already knee-deep in ignorance, aren't we, Bob? This is either going to be fun or torture. Maybe a bit of both. Let's find out.
Sir Sig deconstructs the cherry-picked and misquoted nonsense that Bob Larson spews during his nonsensical rant about video games, violence, and Satanism. Speaking on the video game Mortal Kombat, Sir Sig demonstrates how mere violence isn't the only reason why Mortal Kombat remains popular. He also shows how Bob Larson's nonsensical rant is dishonest in order to provide a narrative. Go figure. Former Flat Earth Slayer turned Karen Soft-Sit Destroyer Team Skeptic debuted a new opening sequence right before tearing into a First Amendment frauditor.
Hey guys, and welcome to today's YouTube Idiots video. Today we have a First Amendment auditor who targets a post office, but ends up showing the entire YouTubes that frauditors don't very well English with poster 7. So let's begin.
Northeast branch. Every time I go there, they got a line out the door.
Yeah, like especially like around this time, like 5 o'clock.
Really? I didn't want to hear that. I was expecting you to know your rules and regulations here.
Oh, she knows the rules and regulations where she works. It's you who lacks the infinite wisdom that comes with comprehension of the English language. And if you're watching this at home, make a note to yourself. This is the first time that he's asked to leave if he doesn't stop recording.
I'm glad you know him. Thank you.
Change to 45 cents.
All right. Thank you.
Put out your receipt.
Okay.
Service at the bottom.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Yes. Now, you're not aware of your poster 7?
And this is the second time that he admits that he doesn't understand what words mean when they're put in sentence form. This is also the second time that he's told that he needs to stop recording or leave the post office.
Team Skeptic joins the few who have transitioned from the dead subject that is Flat Earth debunking and targeted First Amendment soft-sit frauditors. In his latest video, Team Skeptic shows how First Amendment frauditors often either misrepresent or flat out lie about Poster 7. Unlike Flat Earth, I don't see this well drying up anytime soon. Finally, I wanted to address the YouTube copyright DMCA strike system. We all know that the system is broken. That's a given. The process of fighting a content claim is lengthy and doesn't make much sense. We commentators often run into the problem of having our content claimed by a content management entity. And even though what we do clearly falls under fair use, we continually have to fight those who would abuse YouTube's content system. How many of you have carefully selected a subject of a video? You put in all the time and effort needed to research the claims made by whoever. You find the evidence, you counter that evidence, you find evidence to back up your claims. You take the time to write out a script, you rehearse, you record, you edit, literally taking hours and hours to produce a well thought out video. Upload that to YouTube. Get past the whole monetization business of red card, yellow card, green card. You upload your video waiting to share your content with your audience, only to have some content management company come and claim the content of your video. They're taking your video's monetization, even though what you did doesn't infringe upon their copyright. You go through the steps. First, you appeal, not to YouTube, but to the entity that claims your content in the first place. And surprise, surprise, they don't agree with you. Why would they? They claim the content after all. Then you appeal that decision, again, to the entity that claimed your content. But this time your appeal comes with a warning that if the entity decides against you yet again, they can request that your content be removed and you'll receive a copyright strike. Now, you'll be able to fight that copyright strike, but in order for that to happen, you have to let your video get taken down first. You have to let the strike hit your channel first before you can file a counter petition, which is when YouTube actually decides that they're going to get involved. Again, not necessarily to help you, but you being the person who received a copyright strike against you has to present a counter petition that YouTube is going to go through and make sure that you aren't the one who's abusing the system. Once YouTube determines that your counter petition meets their criteria, then they'll forward it on to the entity that claimed your content. Now, this entity will have 10 business days to provide evidence and proof that they are taking you to federal copyright court. If they don't, YouTube is supposed to reinstate your video, remove the content strike from your channel. As I understood it originally, I thought it was supposed to be placed back on the person who made the false DMCA claim, though I'm not sure that's happening. Of course, when YouTube forwards your counter petition, it has all of your personal information attached to it. It has to. In order for the person who's claiming the content, they have to have that information in order to take you to court should they decide that they're going to do that. Now, most of these companies don't do that. They won't file because they know that if they go to court, when these cases get presented, not only will they lose because the vast majority of commentators will win in a court case simply because what we do falls under fair use. These companies know that. They also know that if they do that, if they have to go through that court process, they sue you and you end up winning that case, you're entitled to damages. That's right. They've got to pay you for the lost revenue that your video would have created during the time that it was taken down. They also have to pay court costs, lawyer fees, etc. Now, of course, that comes into summary judgment, not necessarily saying that they're going to do that. You're still out the money that it took, whatever that money is until they decide they're going to reimburse you, which, let's be honest, most of them never will. When these companies take advantage of the YouTube copyright system, they're doing so betting that you don't know what you're supposed to do, betting that you'll just bow down and say, okay, cool, keep my this, that, and the other. I don't want the copyright strike. The system is broken. Why is it I'm being accused of committing a crime, okay, by whatever entity, whoever. I'm the one who's being accused of content violation, of copyright violation, yet I'm the one who has to prove I'm not. It's not the other way around. YouTube doesn't say, show me the evidence first. YouTube could easily say, show me the evidence first that you're taking this person to court before we take this video down. Before we take this content down, I need to see that you, as the entity, as the person who is, or the entity or the person who is claiming the content, show me that you're taking them to court first, then we'll take the video down. In all honesty, YouTube doesn't care. YouTube's copyright system isn't there to protect content creators. YouTube's copyright system is there to protect YouTube. Period. Oh, and when you do get your video reinstated, it's going to be months down the road because this process takes a long time. The initial process takes 30 days. Well, it can take up to 30 days. So the person, when they first file the content claim, you can appeal it. They have 30 days to respond to that first one. And then if they come back and say, no, we agree with ourselves, because most of them will, then you file another one. And I believe it's either 14 or another 30 days. So we're a month and a half to 2 months in, and we haven't resolved this issue. Now, let's say they do the DMCA content takedown. I had a video taken down by Susan Bassey on June 11th. Here we are a month later. I've provided everything I needed to provide, and I'm still waiting for my video to be reinstated. Susan Bassey hasn't taken me to court. I haven't been served with papers, and I haven't been shown any evidence that she plans to do so. So why is my video still down? Meanwhile, if it does get put back up, it's past the time that would have been popular, gaining any kind of subs, views, monetization, etc. Now, what YouTube's copyright system allows is people like PayPal Patty and Susan Bassey to have a chilling effect on those who would criticize their nonsense. They're abusing the system to silence people like me, like Schrodinger's cat, like Team Skeptic, all these people who would criticize what they have to do. They use this system in order to try and silence them. Now, as I understand it, PayPal Patty, for instance, has done this several times to several different creators. And as I understand it, what's supposed to happen is when these creators reach out and say, hey, where am I being taken to court? And that the PayPal Patty or whoever doesn't provide that evidence, that content strike should be reversed. If you get 3 strikes in a 3-month period, that's supposed to be the removal of your channel. Yet PayPal Patty is still up. I get that YouTube has many content creators and many videos that they have to protect, but the system needs to be fixed. The system needs to be reworked in order to remove the abuse. We need harsher penalties for those who do abuse the system. Rick Beato has recently been on two or three different rants about this very system. And his content is textbook fair use. He breaks down people's songs in order to teach people theory, structure, music history. He's literally teaching people using other people's material, other people's songs, yet he goes through a constant demonetization process, copyright claims, and even copyright strikes. It's ridiculous. This has to change. Commentators are often targeted by those who would silence their critics. And educators who use film and music are often targeted for what? A few $100s? How can we be effective in change? Well, the only thing that we can do is not be the jerk or the asshole that abuses the DMCA copyright strike system on YouTube. If somebody takes your video and breaks it up and makes a commentary video about it, deal with it. Don't run and file a copyright strike claim or a content claim or a takedown claim and be that person. If it's obvious fair use, shake your head, say awesome, cool, make a response video, do whatever. But don't be that person that files a false DMCA claim or the content claim or the strikes. No, that doesn't stop morons like Susan Bassey and PayPal Patty from doing what they do. But it will reduce the backlog of videos and instances in which YouTube has to review. And that's our show. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, share this video with all your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Also, please consider becoming a channel member or Patreon or supporting the show via PayPal or the merch store. All of that is greatly appreciated, and I thank each and every one of you. As always, I'm Johnny O, and I'll be sure to keep you updated as the plot thickens.